putting together an important national matter for Parliament to discuss. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to Honorable Suhuyini. I've also listened to my own colleague with whom I share esprit de corps, Honorable Kwame Agboja, governs. My own colleague, Kennedy Osei-Nyakon, we came into this chamber together, and not the least, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Adongo. Mr. Speaker, I've come to one single conclusion from all their submissions, that we must fix a system. But, Mr. Speaker, if a deputy minister mounts the podium in this chamber, here our podium is the dispatch box, a very important platform, and includes this in a statement. Mr. Speaker, obviously, nobody will take him serious. The conclusion will be that he's here on a partisan political agenda with no consequence, but to please a certain gallery of vulnerable Ghanaians. And that we want to stop you in your tracks. Mr. Speaker, the report itself, of which he has graciously served me a copy. Mr. Speaker, this is what the report says on page numbered I, signed by the Auditor General himself. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 3 and 4, I would quote. 3, it says, the audit resulted in savings of some 21 billion. In other words, what the state would have paid, but for this audit, there are some savings, which is good. And then, Mr. Speaker, it goes further to say some 115 million cedis would have to be justified. Mr. Speaker, the auditor makes an observation which I think that is critical for my respected friend Govins. We also noted instances of non-performance by contractors and unaccounted government stores. We have made recommendations to address the irregularities identified in the report. Mr. Speaker, that is what the Auditor General is saying. Mr. Speaker, somewhere in 2014, I was privileged to have been part of those who were in this chamber. Kennedy Ejapon, in a similar debate on an audit report, raised the issue of systems and policies, not NDC or MPP, and it became a new term that all of us across the aisle, now when we see one another, we say systems, and we respond policies. This is not about NDC or MPP. That was Kennedy right here in 2014. So when I listened to Agboja and listened to Suhuyini, and again listening to my colleague here, I felt that indeed the minister had lost the plot. Look, Honorable Deputy Minister, we are just calm and watching you guys, not because we don't know. If you are talking about rot, and if you saying that a system has been designed, let me tell you, if we are talking about a system that has been designed to fleece the people, Mr. Speaker, you have a lot. Listen, I didn't apologize to Muntaka because I had made an allegation against him. No, if you are interested in that, we'll go there. So please, we are talking about a serious matter. Honorable Minister for Health, you know how much I respect you. Please stay away from this matter. Or else you will hear what you don't want to hear. Please. I am saying that we know how even the current recruitment system. Say yes, please. Even the current recruitment system. Ghanaian youths are being ripped off by the very system because they have to pay and pay and pay. Mr. Speaker, must we label an individual as being corrupt because there is a system that is not functioning and is going against the citizens. Two, Mr. Speaker, we are here. I once served as a chair of the Rose Fund. I am happy to say that colleagues on both sides of the aisle were able to point how people present the same certificate and manipulate the system for the same payment. And there was a call on the agency to introduce an AI-powered software that would detect these things. Mr. Speaker, I hold a humble view that as political leaders, the time has come for us to sit around the table and fix the system. I will be the first to support that. But if you now want to reduce it to some partisan point scoring, I'm sorry, I won't support it. Because you see, you were in office some years back, like Honorable Kabiru referred to, when MPP assumed office in 2017. A similar audit was done, and you know the story. I won't repeat them. But you and I know that time and again, we all get confronted with system failures. Can we sit together and fix it? I will not put the blame on anybody, but I think that we need to fix the system. If you look at this audit, the Auditor General is referring to Article 1878. In fact, there's a legal issue, a constitutional issue here. If you read Article 1878, it provides, and quotes, Mr. Speaker, with your leave, paragraphs A of clause 7 of this article shall not preclude the President, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, from requesting the Auditor General in the public interest to audit at any particular time the account of any said body or organization as referred to in clause 2 of this article. So there is nothing wrong, listen, there is nothing wrong if the President requests a special audit. However, Mr. Speaker, where is the Council of State advice? Mr. Speaker, we have had the opportunity of seeing the Finance Minister's directive to the Auditor General as contained in whatever directive he received from the President. Mr. Speaker, no reference was made to the Council of State. No reference was made to the Council of State. And I challenge government, if indeed Council of State advised in accordance with the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, fortunately we have a presiding officer now who believes in the text of the Constitution, who does not depart from the language of the Constitution. So where is the advice of the Council of State? So everything you've done here, Mr. Speaker, becomes odious. However, Mr. Speaker, on the basis of national interest, on the basis of prudence, we still hold a view that this must be worked upon. Mr. Speaker, we have a public account committee. I don't mind the referral going to the public account committee. Mr. Speaker, what are they afraid of? We need the public account committee to go into this matter. And Mr. Speaker, nobody should attempt to invite you to set up a certain ad hoc committee. We have our own regular committees that have been established, and there is no exceptional situation. The Constitution is clear that when the Auditor General is done with his work, the referral will be made to the appropriate committee of Parliament, which is Public Account Committee. It is there. They should refer to it. All the agencies that they claim did anything wrong, Mr. Speaker, they are free to invite those agencies to answer. In any event, the good news is that all previous political appointees are still available. Mr. Speaker, they are available to answer for any matter that has been referred to in this report. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader should know that when his backbench does this, and he is also speaking, similar thing can be done. And if Mr. Speaker doesn't see, it's fine. We have seen. Mr. Speaker, all government appointees are in this country. Yes, they are here. Mr. Speaker, if there is any need to invite anybody, they know what to do. Follow the law. Mr. Speaker, they should follow the law. Mr. Speaker, this morning, when we came to Parliament, and the understanding was that we were going to start at 12, we were clear on our minds what we were going to do. We expected the finance minister to come here and brief the House on the cocoa matters. Mr. Speaker, today the deputy minister has been sent to come and brief this House on this, a thing that we already know. You have forgotten. We know. You've said it. You've said it over and over again. This is not the first time. We know. You've been saying this over and over again. And like Honorable Nitiwu said, because you are hot, let me tell you, you promised to create jobs for the youth. They need their jobs. The cocoa money, you are supposed to pay the cocoa farmer. You have refused to pay the cocoa farmer. You've increased electricity tariffs to almost 30%. It is hitting households. You are supposed to create jobs. You are not doing so. Where is your 24-hour economy? Where is your one job, 3 shifts? Mr. Speaker, even you cannot take care of your backbench, your 189, you can't take care of them. Instead of designing policies to help your MPs who are struggling, you are not paying attention to that. Only a few of you are enjoying. Even Mr. Speaker sitting there, how are you resourcing his constituency so that he can create jobs? That should be your interest. Not to come here and then start your propaganda.
Honorable Minority Leader, take me out of your comments.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, but your constituency is one of the constituencies that need to be supported. Mr. Speaker, therefore the Deputy Minister of Finance must come here and do the proper thing. His own constituencies that are cocoa farmers, support them and stop the propaganda. Mr. Speaker, that said, I want to rest my case, and I hope that next time he will come here and do the needful. Thank you so much.
Honourable members, before giving the floor to the Majority Leader, let me acknowledge the presence of students from BCSC Senior High School, led by Francis Afari Saki, Headmaster. They are from Ejumako Enyan, SCM. They numbered 93. Honourable members, on your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. You may resume your seats. It's now the turn of the Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, let me join colleagues to thank the Minister of Finance for making this statement and briefing the House on the outcome of the special audit that was conducted into arrears and payables. So, Speaker, it is part of our record that the Minister last year did indicate that he was holding on to paying some claims because he wanted to conduct a special forensic audit to validate the payments. Indeed, in this chamber, on several occasions, the minority leader had occasion to demand that contractors be paid, and the finance minister responded that he was holding on to the payment because he wanted to verify. So, Mr. Speaker, after the verification, the minister owes it to this House to come and report to us the outcome of the verification. But more importantly, this is not a verification done by the minister himself or the ministry. It is an exercise undertaken by the Auditor General, supported by consultants that they engaged. And we all know that by law, the Auditor General can engage private consultants to assist in carrying out audit exercises. And Mr. Speaker, when the Auditor General audits state institutions, agencies, public corporations, the normal thing to do is to present the audit to Parliament. The reason is that we as parliamentarians, we superintend over all these agencies. We budget for the agencies, and so we should be interested in knowing how they utilize their finances. And we represent the people whose lives can be made better if the funds are used judiciously. I hear the minority leader saying that special provision should be made for the Speaker so that the Speaker can manage his constituency better. What do you use to make the special provision? Resources. So if the Speaker authorizes resources to agencies and they are wasteful in the use of the resources, with what is the finance minister going to make special provision for every single member of Parliament here to fix the roads in their constituencies, fix the electricity in their constituencies, fix the broken water systems in their constituencies, and deal with the broken schools in their constituencies? Resources. So we must be interested in how the resources are used. And when this government decides that we are going to pay special attention to this, it is not political witch hunting. And I regret that throughout this comment, I've heard colleagues try to create the impression that politicians are not responsible and that it is the technocrats, the bureaucrats. That's not true. Politicians are ultimately responsible. You are ultimately responsible. You are responsible for your ministry. You are responsible for your agency. If there is corruption, if there is waste, it is your responsibility to make sure that those who are engaged in that are held to account. Because we sit here as parliamentarians and pass the laws, we sit here and approve the budgets, and we are the ones that the Auditor General reports to, so that when there is malfeasance, it is our responsibility to ensure that it is corrected, that people are punished. So, Mr. Speaker, this report that has been presented to us is a very serious indictment of events that occurred in the past 4 years. Very serious indictment. I was in this chamber when the Minister for Agriculture came here and told us that there was a dry spell in the north of Ghana and that we needed to buy food. They needed to buy food. The budget was humongous. The budget was humongous. And we gradually